Yeah, man, it's just one of those days. I mean, everything's going wrong, but it's up to me to turn that around, just like it is up to anyone. So if we just think about the good, ignore the bad, we could turn this around. Plus, no matter what, no matter what, I got summer on the inside.
Thank you. This is amazing. I'm so excited to be here and meet you and be on camera and do this with you. So this is an honor and an honor to be doing this for Anita on behalf of her work, because for me, it's been life-changing.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh,
So,
I'm so excited to dive in. So, Courtney, thank
yeah.
you so much for being here. And yeah, to just set a little context for those people who will be watching, my name is Alexa Rose, and I have been working with Anita for the last several years. My background is in personal development and transformation, and then I moved into transformational storytelling. So I'm a storyteller, a screenwriter, and a director. And most recently, Anita and I teamed up to really get this work at a greater level and also tell the story of the personal stories. We're creating a series called The Only Way Out, and it's about bringing the feminine archetype back into the world and conscious capitalism and just personal harrowing stories of transformation. And so wanted to get together and talk to you and talk about your signature sacred geometry experience and what's moved in you, what's transformed, how this is different, and yeah, just get to know you better. So thanks for being here.
No, this is amazing. Thank you, Alexa. I'm super happy. My first time being on a podcast. I'll just show some vulnerability here. So I'm going to lay it all on the table, open myself up. I feel this work is so imperative and so important to get out there. For me, it truly has been life changing. I'm living, probably for me in my 53 years, the most beautiful life I've ever had. Going through relationships, raising children, you know, having different experiences and not knowing really what the terms accountability, vulnerability, authenticity, really diving into what those mean in this time of my life.
Mm.
Always living an authentic life, always being true to who I am, showing up who I was and who I am in what I thought was every situation or moment. But now those words and living by that truth has a whole new set of rules and meanings for me.
Awesome.
So it's a
Awesome.
game changer.
Beautiful. Love it. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about types of things that you had done in the past, right? Like what did your life look like pre coming into the sacred geometry signature work with Anita and meeting Anita, and maybe in peppered in there anything that sort of created you as the version of you that had the things to work on that have come
Yeah.
for you in your life.
So I grew up in Toronto, Canada, a great family, parents married 54 or 5 years until the day my dad passed away. My mom's still alive, just celebrated her 79th birthday.
Very nice.
Yes, amazing, super close family. Um, really just, I had this really unbelievable upbringing. But you still witness in your childhood things that transpire between your parents,
Yeah.
that are passed on to you. And you really don't, me in my early days, none of this was really taught to me. So I didn't really know what I was really carrying with me all these years.
Hmm.
I had a situation at 12. I was raped, actually, I was on more than one occasion by a family friend's mom's boyfriend. Um, and I carried the silence with me. I did not even reveal that to my mom or my sister until this past year.
Wow.
So I
Wonderful.
did carry a lot of that buried deep and deep, and as a mom and as I was growing up, and I just started telling these stories about myself, who I was, and to mask all those feelings of like protection and hurt and anger. But I still always wanted to be that bubbly self because that's truly who I was. But I didn't know how to be that with all those underlying things I was carrying. Um, I got married in my early 20s. I met an actor entertainer. I went through that whole life. 10 years, I was his manager. We traveled the world. I brought a baby around the world, like literally did amazing things. But I was in, I chose people in my life that were not the right people for me because I felt so I could heal, I felt I could heal everybody else.
Interesting.
So I found a man that, oh, this man needs some healing. I saw the red flags. Everybody saw the red flags. I mean, they were out and underlined. I mean, if I told stories, I could write a book. I mean, one day will come out, just all of it. And when my kids I had two children, 5 and 3. And when I found out through all the affairs and multiple things that were going down, I shut that down. I cut that out. That's it, out the door. But now I'm with 2 babies on my own, making this life work and figuring this out. And what do I do? So we had gone to therapy. We had done couples counseling. He'd gone to an addiction specialist, like finding anything that we could to build ourselves out of this hole, including me. And none of it seemed to work because I ended up basically back in the same type of a relationship, an 8-year alcoholic, beautiful soul, but damaged. Once again, I can heal, I can fix, but in the same sense, all I'm being is abused. And I'm abusing myself because I'm not loving myself correctly, clearly not. I'm giving everything to everybody else, my kids, my ex, my whatever it was. I was not loving me correctly. I finally had come to a place about 6 years ago where I ended all the nonsense, and I started to think like, we need help, him and I, and going for help. And I found a really good therapist, talk therapy. And I continued on with this lady who gave me the power within myself enough to allow myself the freedom to break free. Not the tools where I feel like I need now for the relationship building, but enough for me to clear space in order to know my value, to attract the right person into my life. There's a very big difference.
Yeah.
So I worked on that for a good 2 years before I even put myself back out into the dating world or out into the world of just healing me from inside out. Because that's where it is. It's digging so far deep within me that I needed to clear space, clear head. How can I see new things if I'm so muffled and messy, and it's just not possible?
Yeah.
So I went through a space of just healing from within, and then it allowed me the freedom at least to put myself out to the world. I went through a year of dating, couldn't find anybody, and through my sacred geometry, because I know what it is now, like I know it's all planned out. I had met my now husband, that I mean, he's a godsend, the best thing that literally has ever happened to me besides my
Oh,
2 children. But clearly, this man came into my life for every reason
mhm.
imaginable. And the work that the two of us now have dove into on so many levels. Um, but really, it was through him that, like, when he had met me, and thank God he saw potential. Potential. No, we always say we don't date for potential. What he saw was a beautiful soul that knew that, um, just needed some cleansing,
Love it.
a lot of
Yeah,
cleansing.
beautiful.
Yes.
I'm so happy to hear
Yeah.
that things are
Yeah. Thank
flowing.
you.
Yeah,
Flowing.
flowing. Yeah, I hear my baby out there.
Oh, go good. Yeah.
I need to hold
Yeah.
the joys of being a mom. I just fed her, but here she
Hi.
is.
Hi,
She's
little
the hoot.
one.
Hi, this is Kaya. This
Oh,
is
she's
Courtney. Say
beautiful.
hi to
Hi,
Courtney. Oh,
sweetheart.
she loves the camera, man. She loves the camera. I'm wondering, I'm wondering if I adjust this, I don't even actually think we'll be able to see her. And I think
She
maybe
can be in it. Why not?
she could be, that's true. Well, she might be, well, let's see,
Oh,
maybe.
you don't want her in it though, because you don't want her on out in the world, or do you? I don't know.
I don't have, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. She's on
Okay, so
Instagram
I don't.
already, but
For
she may
me,
need to eat, in which case I'll just
okay,
tilt the camera up and I'll ask
okay,
questions. We won't be able to see her.
okay,
So,
okay.
okay, cool. So, all right. So you found your person. So tell us a bit about how you found Anita and the sacred geometry work. What was that experience like?
So for us, I'll go back into just a little, because there's a precursor to even going into Anita, in terms of the self work and what we had done, and or I had done. My husband's been in this realm a long time. So he had said to me, you need to, right away, you need to start meditating. Like, this needs to become a daily practice for you. Like, absolutely. So I then got on Insight Timer,
Okay.
started a 40-day transformation with David G. Like, unbelievable. I recommend anybody that wants to clear space, 40 days of this every day. It's about 40 minutes. It's perfect.
Awesome.
Um, did that. Then I started on it. It's called Synctuition, which is, it does all the brain sound waves, and through music and all these intricate, animal sounds and birds, and it's so beautiful, and it clears and it opens up all this beautiful space to really even out the different sides of your brains, just to become whole. It's it's really spectacular. I did all that. So he had said there was protocols, and it all started with ayahuasca ceremonies, going to ayahuasca ceremonies, and I was like curious. I was a little judgmental at first, um, to this whole new way of beingness, or what is all this? I'm curious, but what is all this? And, Michael, my husband, was like, before you judge anything, you need to go try it yourself, or, really see what it's like. And so I did some my own research, and realized that, yes, this is something I really would like to go dive into. And that's when he said, well, before anything happens, you need a safe place to come home to, meaning me, through meditation, that if anything, who knows what's going to pop up when you're doing all that, diving into yourself. So knowing that I had the tools within me, at least, to be able to come back home and carry myself through, that it was a really important aspect of going through any type of ceremony, any type of work. So we've gone through that, and then we've gone and done some ceremonies and some ayahuasca. And then through a mutual friends, they had introduced Anita to Michael. And Michael started working with Anita, and I was now living with Michael. And Michael's going, I think my girlfriend then at the time needs to be doing, I can't be doing this work if she's not doing this work.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
mirroring, that he was trying to pass it on, and you need to be growing, ascending together. I mean, that's just way too important. So he had introduced me to Anita, and now our lives have forever changed.
That's
Really.
awesome. That's awesome. So how
Yeah.
long have you been working with Anita now?
Oh, over a year off and on. I don't even know. I mean, it's like the beauty is, Anita is so amazing through this work for me that Michael and I don't know how everybody else works, and we've gone through an emergence in love where it was created through, I know a lot through us. And a lot of the points were created, and her podcast came out, I know, came through Michael and I.
Awesome.
And so it's kind of an in and out thing. And now I'm back in again right now, coming back in myself. It's a forever, for me. I feel like this is something that I just want to carry on because it's so profound. It's really in a moment. It changes things so quickly now.
Yeah.
And where I am picking up the things now, where it took me a while to dive in and to really click in.
Yep.
And then once you click in, and once it just all starts flowing and it's fluid, and it's like, wow, it's just boom, everything just blows up like incredibly. Don't mean that like where we have the blow ups too, so it can blow up there, but that's where the creation happens. But now in terms of like everything I set out for, like I wanted to move in. I wanted to manifest no longer working in this job I was in for 14 years. I knew I wanted to be married to this. Like, we had the most magical wedding this past September. We had every one of our closest, like 175 people, but the most important people from all the way back to grade school to current had come out equally for Michael and I, in so much support and love. And we are just living this most beautiful life together through this work.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I heard a couple things in there. Number one is that you've done some really deep, you've actually created some programs with Anita around love, or that just
I think it was facilitated because of our emergence in love.
Yeah, I love that. That's
because we dove into this, and I think a lot of the things came out where Michael and I, what we had brought through let's say I'm the anxiously attached, if we're going to put a label to it. Michael is the avoidant, and bringing those together, and the way that she had formulated those and putting it through this emergence in love was really spectacular. Because you can then, once you see things and know who you are in any given situation, you can then approach it very differently. It's amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And then I'm also hearing that the sacred geometries, I mean, and we say this all the time, it's kind of inexplicable how it works, because it is so different than everything else out there that I've found. But could you talk a little bit, I mean, you shared the experience of it, but can you talk a little bit about how this work is different for you, or the experience of it, and what makes it so profound?
So the most important thing I think is knowing where our roles are, knowing that the negative, we're here to mirror each other. So knowing that the negative that's going to come through Michael, that's there for me, because I'm creating something. I've now created something to then stir something up in Michael to give back to me, like where it's now an upgrade for me. It's coming back in my face. So it's like, who am I here to be? What am I to do in this situation? what's the best for all of us in this situation? And rather than seeing Michael as the negative, I now can see him as a vessel that is transferring this information back to me so I can self-reflect in the moment to say, oh, wow, I just created this. It's coming back now. He's just the tool there that's like really showing me, oh, fuck, like, oh, excuse me, like, this is like, wait, what is it? If I could give an example, um, there's there's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's lists. I mean,
But you're doing great in this
okay.
explanation. I'm like things are clicking in for me actually. So thank
Okay.
you. Yes.
Okay, good. Because
Yeah.
it's important and it's very, and I tried to explain it to friends of mine, and where the real click is coming now is really seeing my partner, my husband, no longer in this negative space, and knowing that I had an impact, that I created this, owning my impact through self-reflection. And then knowing, okay, what was that? Like, why was that created? What is the message here for me to go back and work on now? Because there's something in this that happened within the situation between us that I now need to go self-reflect on, go back in my history that needs transcending and alchemy in order to me to, I call it sending to the light. It stays home. It's always within me, but we just need that false traits, go home.
Yeah.
It's like we carry these within us. It's these voices within us that all want to be heard, right?
Mm.
So, I carry a lot of prostitute energy or victim energy. I've had a lot of crap happen to me. A lot of men walk over me, take advantage of me. I just have. The prostitute is the people pleasing. I'm always saying sorry. I'm
Mm.
always trying to please everybody.
Also, for those who are watching, these are archetypes that we work with and the work with Anita and Liberate Me, just so everyone kind of
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
they're energy. Yeah, they're the archetypes. It's the saboteur. It's our child energy, our prostitute energy, and our oh God,
The victim,
the victim. I said the
yeah,
victim.
yep,
I said the victim.
yep,
Victim saboteur. Yeah.
yep,
So, and then we transform those, or me, I alchemize those, transcend them to move into my lover, my sovereign, my warrior,
yep.
and my
Magician.
magician.
Yep.
So that's where I'm going to be into my whole beingness once I step into those archetypes.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And as you were sharing, you were talking about, you've created these experiences, what they're showing up in other people or other circumstances, but it's essentially something that you've created or the macro sacred geometries have created for you to see what it triggers in you and then take a look at that and heal that. Is that?
And so one of the biggest takeaways when you look at it or when you speak about it in that way is everything happens for you. Nothing is happening to you. And when I look at that, like with my daughter now, she's having a situation in her sorority with like, there's a lot of drama, a lot of girls. And I just the other day, this is happening for you. Let's look at the message here. What is it? There's an underlying message that we need to now transcend here within yourself.
Mm,
You're just sitting back. You've always let people step over you. This is a time for you now to have a voice. This is now a time for you to stand up for yourself. This is the time for you to step into this. So I am now passing this on because your child's going to be the vessel through you. They're all connected through this sacred geometry. So I'm now passing this on through the work to my daughter. It's amazing to be able to do this. And then to hear her like 3 hours later, oh my God, I'm so much better, mom. Like, oh my God, I cleared that. Like, wow, like powerful. I mean, it's life changing in a moment.
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and it changes everything. I mean, that's the thing is that as you do the internal work, it's like a clockwork, like everything shifts around you like very powerfully.
And it's so funny. Michael, my husband, he also he talks about it through puzzles. So all the pieces of our puzzle, they're all out there. They're all spread out, but then they all constantly come to formulate and start filling in. But it doesn't, it's through the sacred geometry. They don't have to be already formed. They already know where they are, and they're going to come in and start formulating that puzzle. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So my puzzle is constantly being filled. I
Mm.
mean, it is so unbelievable what is happening in my life right now. And
Oh,
it is like truly we are living our best lives, the most beautiful lives we can have.
I love
Yeah.
that's
So it's very truly, I am so appreciative and have so much gratitude for this and the time that one we give ourselves, what Anita gives into this, and being able to read into me, because what she comes back to me. So what it is I go to Anita with something, a situation. We hate it. I don't like calling it situation because not really a situation, but something happens in my life that comes up and it's a situation with someone. I send that off. I write my I feels. I'll be like, I feel angry. I do it 5 times through the I feels. So I'm clearing that out. I'm feeling into that energy. I'm getting that angry, and she wants you to feel it. I feel angry, and really get into that. I feel disappointed. Feel into that disappointed. Go through those of whatever that is at that person, at the situation. It's usually a person. And then the I feel sad, and then being able to know, where was that in my past, in my root wound? Where did I bury that? When did that happen in my life? To recognize, to know, to clear that energy. So we're just clearing this all out so we can be free and fluid and not carry that darkness within ourselves. To let the light shine through is what it is.
I love it. Yeah, I was going to ask you, that was going to be my final question because we've got about 4 minutes left here. So my final question for you was going to be, what is the experience of working with Anita? Because, you know, she comes and she's such a channel, and she's got all these messages for you, to you. What has that been like for you?
So for me, and the most amazing thing is it's spot on every time it comes back at me. I always like, how does she know this? Like, she's in Singapore. Like, how does she even get this? Like, she is so in tuned. She is so in tuned, I think, with the whoever it is, I don't know, but I know for us, for myself, she is so in tuned with my connection to my soul. She's so connected to my energy, so connected at the vibration of where I want to end up and be. So to bring me into that higher level of beingness, that's where I'm able to step in through this work. That's the connection that I need to be brought out back into through Anita. And that is what I'm able to step through and become. And it's a way of being. It's this new way of being, is what it is. And it's pretty fabulous.
Oh, amazing. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you're definitely, I like listening to you talk about it. I mean, I've had some ahas, and also just the energy that you're in. It's clear that, you know, it's working.
It's
And
working, life changing. Life is really, you know, there's a lot of blow ups, a lot. It's ugly and it's messy and it is not pretty. And if anybody thinks this is for the faint of heart, it is not, because you have to be ready to go all in. And if you're not ready to go all in, then you're not ready to ascend and you're not ready to evolve. So if you want to evolve and you want to live at a higher consciousness level, You need to be able to dive in at all costs. And I mean that truly, because it will take that to free up everything within yourself to live lighter, brighter, shinier, happier, healthier, wealthier, wiser, and more beautiful.
I love that. I love that. And I'd like to say, piggybacking on that, it is about going deep. And yes, the exactly what the unexpected will always present itself, because that's the subconscious, right? Like the
Oh,
transformation comes in those like curveballs, and that's the quantum. But I will say that working with Anita, she makes it as painless as it possibly can be for how deep and intense it is.
oh, the blow-ups are only between my husband and I. That's where
Yes.
the magic happens. Nothing with Anita. Anita
Oh,
brings it all
yes.
back to like clear and ease and flow. And this is how to manage it, how to
Yeah.
break free of it. Oh, and that's the beauty in it. And that's where the creation happens. That's where you elevate. It's pretty amazing when you see it that way and when you start living it and being it. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank
Aw,
you for that. Yeah.
thank
No, it's
you.
so good. It really is. Yep.
Thank you.
No. And it's, yeah, once you start having those and you have them long enough that you can really start seeing the difference and being the difference.